All right, today we had some really great movement. We continued on our journey on this breakout on ES futures and the Nasdaq 100. There's a few things we need to discuss about what to expect going into tomorrow. Before we get into that, to ask you to consider doing two things: liking and subscribing every single day. We're covering how the market's moving and what to expect here on the channel, and non-biased every single day. Going into today, we had Powell speaking right at open, signaled interest rates will remain high to fight inflation. There was a few big points to mention here. When it came into this, the longer inflation remains well above target, which it is right now, the greater the risk that the public sees higher inflation as the norm. Very bad. Highly cautions strongly against prematurely loosening policy, aka reducing those rates or cutting them, which has made us have this theory now that rates will remain high for the next 6 to 12 months, which looks pretty bad. Other Fed officials have echoed his resolve in recent weeks, raising market expectations that central bank will again raise rates by 3/4, aka a 0.75 hike at the next meeting, September 21st through 22nd. That is the expectations on the market. Before we get into any of that, I also want to highlight the options flow before we go through any of the charts. QQQ, we're going to look at the biggest orders here on the premium, facing downside there, but it's worth mentioning those are block orders. However, Qs have been our most bullish ETF when we're looking here. Going into SPY, pretty bearish, some block orders kicking in as well. Into SPX, very bearish here. This has been bullish over the past few days. VIX, looking for the upside as well. So let's dive in here. First thing I want to talk about is really going to be ES, and typically I'm focused more on Nasdaq. However, ES has given us a clear range to watch. If we go and add our opens indicator really quick, and I'm going to turn on our VWAP, we're going to look at a few things here. Looking at the 4-hour chart, this is our level from last week, I do believe, and this is going to be where we kind of trended and continue to get rejected around 4,010 through 4,020, continuously getting rejected. What's happened when we tested this area? It's simple. Sellers step in. So when you're operating in a supply and demand type trading method, what you're looking for is this. When you come up to your level, you're looking for sellers to take control or sellers to step in to push you down. When you come into your buying zone, what happens? You're expecting buyers to step in and push you up. Well, you've been remaining in this range, and you're trying to see who's going to basically stand their ground for the longer amount of time. Sellers at 4,000 or buyers at 3,900. And you've been pinballing for basically the last 2 weeks. Tomorrow we get an answer. Can we break out? That is the question. And we're going to get our answer pretty soon. Looking at Nasdaq. Again, it's a big range, and you're more around the 12.4 to 12.5, which we talked about yesterday. But I want to talk about what happened here on the day, specifically with volume, because there's a lot that happened, and I don't really know if we were able to process it all as traders. So going into today's open, again, you basically all night long since 1 o'clock yesterday into 7 a.m. this morning Central Time, you trended in this range between 12.25 and highs around 12.3, a 50-point range, up, down, up, down. Before Powell spoke, you started dipping down, you rose back up, and then again, you dumped around here, 10.15. The only reason I could suspect that you dipped was because of the remarks around OPEC and the new energy deal. They said that it's not where it needs to be and it's not looking good. That's the only thing that I could suspect that really could push you down. But again, there was no real clear answer here. You broke down, but the important thing to realize is what happened here, people. Buyers continue to step in. What does that mean? So you're making higher lows continually here, continually pushing up and up and up, right? Buyers continue to step in on dips. This is what you want to see. Going into tomorrow, what am I looking for here? I'm curious to see if on the after hours, do you hit this level around 12.4? That's going to be a big area to watch. And how do you respond from this level? Because going into ES, it's pretty apparent how we've responded here. It's rejection, rejection, rejection. We've ended the day in this level here, and we're going to see how buyers step in or sellers step in here. Going into Bookmap, showing you this here. It's really interesting to see what happened here. Now, on the day, you were green on your CVD, your buying power, and then after that dip around 10:30, it stayed red for the remainder of the day. You can see you turned green for a second, and then you were rejected right back down. So looking at CVD, it leaves me with the question as well. Did buyers slow down, and will they follow through into tomorrow? Going basically through 2 to 3, the last hour of trading, power hour, it was heavily in favor to the dark pool side of the market, the hidden order book. Now in level 2, you won't see this. You saw a lot of sellers stepping in here. End of the day, saw a little bit of buyers, but a lot of sellers stepping in here. So going into tomorrow, I'm looking to see if you're going to get that rejection. I want to see a rejection personally. I'm curious to see if we're going to get more downside, okay? So that's what I am curious about, because every time we come to a clear resistance, a clear level, we're always expecting a rejection, right? So if you're coming to a target and you're targeting 401 here on SPY, what are you looking for ultimately? You're looking to sell at this level for a rejection to push you back down. Now, if you push above this and you start gapping through this, you look bullish. You're going to test 407, 406. That's your next range here for me. So again, I'm sitting here patiently. I have a few puts on the SPY side of the market right now. That's really it. And I have some longer dated NVIDIAs. But other than that, I'm sitting here on my hands. That's how I'm trading this market right now, being pretty patient with this. Going into VIX, I also want to talk about this. We're going to look at the 4-hour chart here. I've been talking about it a lot here as well. Looking at VIX, what's happening? We talked about that downward channel. We talked about pushing up yesterday. And we talked about this key level of 24 where you're at. Look at how you've reacted here. Something's changing here though, people. Look at VIX on the day. Even with that downside push, you've been pushing down all day today, sitting at below 24. You start breaking below this, you got to start looking, maybe coming back down to our key level. $16, $18. That's where we really wanted this to get to. And you're slowly inching towards our target. These are areas you got to be watching for. And it's definitely sparking my interest as we're trading right now. So as I'm looking at this, I want to see how VIX reacts. But when we come into J and K and these other levels, you're getting those bounces. It's worth mentioning J and K is back at that key level as well. You've not tested this recently. The last time you tested this was back in July 15th, roughly, when you got rejected. Then you popped through it. But you're back at this level right now. Looking at the dollar, DXY, you're sitting, you're holding support. So if we're looking here, everything that points towards more bearishness is at support or at a resistance, right? So we need to be sitting here waiting to see if we actually are going to get that breakout on the market. That's what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here. I'm patiently waiting. I'm seeing if this is actually going to be a confirmed breakout. Again, I have calls on NVIDIA and I have puts on SPY right now to protect my NVIDIA position. But other than that, I'm just sitting here patiently because if we get the breakout to the upside, we have a lot of momentum and a lot of money to be made towards that upside, which is something that I'm definitely looking to capitalize off of with yields as well as we get in here. Again, I want to highlight this as well. Yields, you're still sitting here and you're still trending sideways, something I highlighted yesterday. You had a little bit of a push up on Tuesday, but other than that, or this was actually last week, but you've really been just trending sideways here at 95, 96%. You haven't seen that type of movement here on yields before. It's been a while since you've seen that. The most stagnation you had was between June 2nd and basically June 7th, about 5 days of period of trending there. Now you're getting the similar movement. When that happened, what happened here? You had a lot of volatility kicking in. Now, I'm not saying you're going to push up on yields and you're going to start dumping on the market, but you need to be watching out because the last time these flatlined, what happened? You got volatility. So I'm expecting a volatile move here. See, look, 26th through 22nd, volatile move. So we are expecting volatility to start kicking in here and for yields to start moving especially, but we want to wait, be patient. Don't force anything in this market right now. Sitting on your hands and waiting for a clear breakthrough potential or rejection is the best move here. Because if you come in tomorrow on ES futures and you reject at this level, which we're watching, how much room do you have to the downside? If you start rejecting, you have clear downside move all the way back down to 3,900. So play what the market gives you. Don't start playing the guessing game because that's when you're really going to get hurt. It's when you're trying to guess back and forth what the market's going to do. It's not that hard, people. Just let the market show you what's happening and then trade based on that trend. Again, we're looking at this key level, and I'm going to sound like a broken record here. And you're sitting back at the resistance. There's no reason to be trying to trade the upside here or play against it. Now, if you have calls from down here on the dip, then awesome. You're sitting in a good position. You can afford to, hold those through over the night. But if you're just day trading, just wait to see how we react here. Because I'm telling you, if you break above this, you have almost instantaneous movement towards 466, 470. If you get rejected here, I can almost guarantee push down to 3960, 3950, possibly down to 3900. So again, short video today, play by ear, stay safe here on the market. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not even talking about stocks. I love NVIDIA. I love NVIDIA a lot. Tesla getting a good breakout too. That's what I'm looking at right now. Have a good one, traders.